Sometimes I just get tired of the cookie cutter, plastic handled, hippy dippy, lightweight polymer pocket knives. And I've been on a quest for a while now for a pocket knife that has just as much elegance and refinement as it does strength from the fires in the forge it was birthed from. With all of the beauty of a Roman princess and all of the lethality of a pit viper. And just when I thought my quest would falter and fail, as if fate had willed it into my hands, I discovered the blade I had been searching for. And here she is, the Anso Orso 2. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another epic tale of blade love. If you're into knives, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, hope you'll join us week in, week out as we dive into blades as well as your favorite outdoor gear and seeing how they perform and stack up compared to what else is out there. And I got us a treat today. This Italian-made, designed by the Danish custom knife maker Jens Anso, the Orso 2. Now, the original Orso is a liner lock. This one is a titanium frame lock with multiple different versions that you can get. This happens to be micarta. You can get titanium and carbon fiber scales as well. And as we begin to dive in and break down the tool, I do want to give a quick shout out to GPKNIVES for sending this over to me, hooking me up so I can show you guys what this tool has to offer. I've been buying many of my blades for the last few years through GPKNIVES. They always have amazing prices, great customer service, and very cool. When a knife drops, I always check their site because I know they often have some of the best prices around some unique designs that other distributors just don't have. And they do carry this as well as its variants, as well as some of the competitive options. I'll roll in a little bit later. So check them out, links below. Always appreciate having them as a distributor I can recommend to you guys. And let's just take a moment to really enjoy the craftsmanship that went into this tool and just the idea and the design. There's this like mechanical strength to it. And I think it just has to do with the titanium and the micarta, but then there's this beauty and this elegance that the tool is also having with it. And this is this really cool blending that's very hard to find. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like my lightweight polymers and synthetics and all that stuff, and it makes the tool light and it helps with the pricing and all that. That's fine. But there does come a point where it's nice to have something that is like all crafted by what feels like hand. I'm sure it's machine and all that, but just the micarta is like natural and warm, and then the titanium is strong and etched, and and there's just, I don't know, there's just really good vibe of having a tool like this versus one that's like G10 with no liners or some sort of plastic synthetic that I'm sure is super strong and lightweight, but it's just, it does feel I don't know, stamped out, whereas this feels crafted by hand, feels custom. Now, how about that pocket clip? Very cool, very robotic. Actually reminds me kind of like of a finger of a robot, of a sentient life form created by man. Right there, very cool. Probably one of the most unique that I've seen. Very pronounced off the body, so that's gonna easily go. I have not had this bogged down on a single pocket, like reinforced pocket that I own on my pants. So it's very good. Sometimes some of these blades and some of these like semi-customs made by custom designers, the pocket clip is just brutal, and they're only really good for slacks. I could easily get this over double reinforced pockets, no problem. Really nice tight lock up there. It hasn't traveled side to side, even though there's only one screw, but it's much larger than you might expect, and then contoured. So it feels very comfortable when you're gripping the knife. All the angles are transitioned really well. Gives you a little bit of flex there, but not like overly bad. But because of just the way the lip is, it goes on every pair of pants that I own, which is awesome. Now on the deployment side, you got a flipper, and it's kind of this short stubby flipper, which is becoming more the trend. Unlike, here's a case blade I'm working with right now. You can see this almost double the height, which for some people they love. Some people it kind of gets annoying or throws off the symmetry of the tool. No jimping on it, but I rarely slide off of it. It's happened once or twice, but it's very rare. I usually can get the purchase that I need, and then without flicking it, opens up. Now I did take this all apart just to kind of see what it had going on in there. It's caged ball bearings, so that's a nice deployment feature to see. That allows you to flip it without having to do a wrist flick. And I don't know if it's because there's micarta on one side. It's just not as like smooth as some other ones I've had, or maybe it's the frame lock. It actually might be the frame lock putting tension against the pivot, because it'll drop like you just saw there, but it's just not like, here's one, you know, it just floats, right? And you can just do that. This one doesn't do that. So if I open it partially, I can't really even get it to move. And I mean, I'm like really wiggling it. You got to really kind of like jerk it to click it back into place. So it's smooth and it is on ball bearings, and the lockup is very nice and tight. I mean, I got like zero rock anywhere, which is awesome. But it's just not going to be what you maybe expect out of a lot of ball bearing pivots that are out there. The pivot accents are excellent, very cool on both sides. And because I took it all apart and put it back together without any issue, there are like 2-second points. You know, there's the bolt, the screw for the pivot, and then that comes off and there's a ring underneath. I mean, it's really cool. Really awesome attention to detail there. And then the frame lock is going to hit about 30% of the blade, and it is, as I just said, rock solid. And then it does have 2 screws right there that are going to be screwed into the tension plate. That actually is what is connecting with the back spine of the blade, so that you don't have that weird rubbing sensation that you get with titanium on metal. There's this weird, it's just gross feeling. And so it's nice that it's connecting metal to metal. And then that also has the over travel stop, so you're not going to accidentally over travel the frame lock as you're opening it up. And it just all operates very nice, very smoothly. Just a hair past the micarta. And actually, as I say that, I don't even think it's a hair. Maybe, but I can just barely purchase it and then move it off to the side, and it's easy to disengage there. So you're not going to get like this big giant secondary frame lock edge that feels uncomfortable. It's very organic in the hand. Very, very organic. Whole Foods would be proud of how organic the ergonomics are of the tool. And let's go ahead and just look straight on into those ergonomics. Great micarta. I love how it is wearing. It's got some, you know, stains on it now. I mean, it just is so nice. Great, just that great etching. So cool. Contoured. It's not like just a straight slabist micarta. No liner on that side, so it's just straight micarta screwed on. Really cool spacers. Pronounced just a little bit on the back end there. Not much, and is all milled. Every single edge has been crowned, rounded, nice and feeling uncomfortable to the grip. A little bit of a pronounced lip right there for your lanyard if you did want to do that. And then you're going to get the same there, contoured with all those cut-ins. Just make it look so cool. And then fills out my large size hands plenty with good amount to spare. Good little cut-in right there. No jimping. Not needed. Feels great. Reverse grip. Either way you hold it. Really feels like something that you want to hold, that you want to use, and kind of an extension of your body, which is what you want with a tool like this. Absolutely. The blade is recessed in just enough so that you wouldn't nick it, you know, or grab it, which is great, and excellent detent. Now the blade shape is super cool. It's not a trailing point. A trailing point would go in, for me, when I'm thinking of a trailing point, the tip goes above the handle. It is perfectly in line with the handle, but almost a trailing point, which is an excellent blade shape and just really cool. Great sweep, about 3.5 inches overall, full flat grind. Now what's unique about this is that you're going to be getting LO-QPM 20-4 steel. Now this is a German-made steel in the catalog of M390. So this is a similar M390 20 CV steel. Awesome, good steel, rust resistant, wear resistant, and is going to have the toughness on par from what GPKNIVES says when they're kind of describing the steel to you, of 440C and 154 CM, which is what I'm seeing. So it's not super brittle. You know, it's going to have some toughness and lateral strength to the type of steel, which is super cool to see. Now, it doesn't have quite as high a Rockwell that you might expect. This one on this particular blade is, I believe, 57 to 59, which means that it's easier to work with. You know, stuff that's like 61, 62, yes, it will hold its edge forever, but it tends to be a little bit more brittle, a little bit more chippy, and when it does come time to resharpen, have about an hour to really get the edge the way you want it, because you're going to be using some elbow grease and you're going to have to really dedicate some time to it. This is going to be a little bit easier to work with, but still in that family of M390 from everything that I'm seeing. Crowned spine, so very cool. And what's interesting too with the way that they decided to design it, it's 0.16 on the back spine here, but it tapers pretty quick. Good precise tip, and because of the full flat grind, it is slicey. And the edge geometry, the factory edge was really good for slicing, food prep, cordage, cardboard, whatever. It's a very slicey blade, even though it's pretty stout. You got a pretty stout blade here. It's not this little thin, flimsy tool. You got some robustness behind the refinement of the tool. So let me know about that steel as well, guys. If you own other blades with that type of steel and how has it been performing for you. For me, I've been really happy with it, and just a really kind of unique out of the box steel that they decided to go with on this particular model. Now we will go ahead and hit pricing. This particular model is, I believe, on the cheaper end at about $175 is what it's going for over on GPKNIVES. And then the most expensive, I believe, which is the carbon fiber, was like $185 when I was checking. So well under $200 for an Italian-made premium steel, micarta titanium. I mean, just really, and the fit and finish is just so good. We're gonna run in a competitive option here for us super quick. Just give you some idea, food for thought here. And this is the Case Marilla, I believe. That's how you pronounce that. American-made S35VN and anodized aluminum frame lock. Very similar sizing, kind of similar world that they're competing in. The handles, I will say, though fine and ergonomic, way more contouring and just feel warmer to the touch, more organic with the Viper over the Case. Definitely in the same kind of world of premium steel, S35VN, and then this very particular type of similar to M390 that you're going to get on the Viper. The pocket clip is something that I am noticing with this case. Those screws are so pronounced, it's very difficult to get all the way up onto your pocket. This is going to be a lot easier to ride on your pocket. G10 on that anodized aluminum. Well, there she is, the Anso Orso 2 from Viper Knives. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. This whole video, I think I have. Very cool and stands out in my collection currently as something that's just really unique, that has that refinement but also capability. It's really hard to find, and you can easily get that, for under 200 bucks, which is pretty sweet. So look forward to hearing your guys' thoughts. What's your take on the blade, this particular steel, Viper knives? I always love the comments, the feedback. I invite you to subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber. Check out the other video popping up. And until next time, guys, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.